For a long time, we've dreamed of making a pilgrimage north, to a part of the country that has captivated our imagination for as long as we could point to it on a map. We thought this trip would have come sooner, but the last year has been weird and filled with a lot of changed plans. I wish I could tell you we felt ready for this grand journey. Don't get me wrong, we really wanted this, but we hardly felt mentally prepared for it. We hadn't even had enough time to think about Alaska, let alone get excited about it. With that came a lot of guilt. We set about going through the motions of last-minute errands, packing, and cramming in a little bit more work. Finally, with all the work done, we went out to enjoy our final sunset in the lower 48 for the duration of the summer. In less than 12 hours, this body of water would carry us north, and for the first time, our imminent plans had our undivided attention. Finally, the feeling of excitement was palpable. Yes.
Let's go to Alaska. Got our boarding passes. Let's go get on the boat.
You did it.
That was the hardest part.
With tickets in hand, we took our place in line and anxiously awaited to board the Matanuska.
Okay. I am on the boat. I am trying to go secure a spot on deck for us to camp, and I have no idea where I'm going. Up is where I'm going.
While I was on the boat securing our camp spot, Owen drove Roxanne onto the ferry where she would live below deck for the duration of our passage. spot picked out, I went about the surprisingly challenging job of setting up our minimalist backpacking tent in the wind. Let's just say that the tent was less than cooperative.
Yeah, we're gonna use a lot of tape.
It's recommended that tents be taped to the deck so they don't blow overboard. However, the deck was hot, so hot that it was burning my butt through my pants and melting the adhesive of the tape. An hour, and nearly an entire roll of tape later, I wrestled our tent to the deck. At first, I was a little embarrassed at how overboard I went with my tape job, but later I ended up getting a lot of compliments on my ingenuity. So I recant my embarrassment, and now I'm pretty proud of my handiwork. Shortly after we completed the assembly of our temporary home, the Matanuska cast off and our journey was officially underway. Back on deck, after an exciting meal of ramen, we settled into what would become our routine for the next 2 days and 12 hours. This is gonna be such a nice photo. Our passage on the Alaskan Marine Highway left from the port in Bellingham, Washington, and would soon carry us nearly 1,000 miles north to Juneau, Alaska. The boat navigates an intricate path through the Inside Passage, which is a narrow network of corridors through the islands on the Pacific Northwest coast of the North American Fjordlands. Though we knew all of these details before leaving, nothing prepared us for how unspeakably beautiful this journey would be.
I was just so cozy. This was great.
What? We woke up with a porpoise. Sorry, I cannot help myself when it comes to dad jokes. Finally, the pace of life slowed down. The stress we'd been feeling leading up to this adventure was replaced by an overwhelming sense of contentment. All we had to do now was sit back and enjoy what was right in front of us. As we pushed through the narrow corridors, we occasionally passed far-flung fishing villages and remote outposts. Only to be followed by more breathtaking stretches of vast wilderness. This unique method of travel gave us a rare perspective on areas that are otherwise inaccessible by land. That day, we had 2 brief open water crossings with light seas of 2 to 3 feet, and then back into protected waters sandwiched between lush green islands. Though we still had a few responsibilities, such as feeding ourselves, we found it difficult to pull ourselves away from the top deck long enough to do so. Because every time we thought about going below deck, we'd drift into an incredible scene like this one. That night, we stayed up waiting till dark, but at 11:30, it still hadn't come. Evidence that we were in fact headed to the land of the midnight sun. The morning sun roused us early from our tent, 4:30 a.m. to be exact. Through groggy eyes, we watched the town of Ketchikan come into view. Our first official stop on Alaskan soil. Ketchikan, which is normally busy due to a constant rotation of cruise ships, waited for us quietly. Due to COVID, cruise ships had yet to return to this area of the world. Ready to stretch our legs, we took the opportunity to go to shore and grab some food. I always find it interesting how quickly we can settle into a routine, even when we're in such an unfamiliar place. Maybe that's why we've been able to stay on the road for all of these years. Just 2 days on this boat had left us changed people. Before the ferry, our minds were clouded with a heavy workload and a lack of time to do it in. Now, we had nothing but time. Time is the most luxurious thing anyone could ever possess. This was $1.75, and I went into the refrigerator and felt which one was the heaviest. But never has $1.75 bought me so much happiness in the form of one pound of vanilla pudding. Oh my gosh. So good. Want some? Clearly, I'm a classy lady, with classy taste. We toasted to our last night on the ferry with our modest serving of pudding, Oreos, and an undisclosed brown adult liquid. In the morning, we'd be arriving at our port of call at the ungodly hour of 4 a.m. Due to the early wake-up call, we broke our tent free of its duct tape bondage and instead opted to spend our last night sleeping in our lawn chairs. Below deck, our truck was patiently waiting to be called into action. Above deck, we were still trying to shake the feeling that we were waking from a long daydream. And somehow, this was just the beginning. Next time on Lost and Found.